Hey guys.
Hi guys!
Oh, shivers.
Hey man! You want to tell them what you've been doing? You've been making what?
You tell them.
Mud pies. This is how we afford to travel.
I'll give you something to believe in. I'll give you heaven if you need it. And if your heart can't receive it, it's a sign.
Hey guys, a few people have been asking us, I think one person has been asking us how we're affording to travel, and I thought we'd just let you in on a little secret. I have been an MI7 secret agent. I'll show you. I have been cooking up a storm and selling it on the sidewalks. Just joking. I'll just get into it. Hey guys, so a few people have been asking us how we're affording to travel, and I thought I'd just quickly share. Kez has lost her voice from yelling at me, making me do more cleaning, saying work faster so we can get to more properties and see more of the country. No, she hasn't, but she's pretty sick and lost her voice. Zion's pretty sick and had a really bad cough the last few days, and Zephyr's sick, and I am powering on. Yeah, so the way we are affording to travel is we actually didn't really plan on coming to New Zealand, as Kez said in the last video, so we didn't really budget for it, and it's used up a stack more money than we thought, even though we have free accommodation. So the way we've been able to get free accommodation was at the start of the trip we got offered, Kez already said, but we got offered a place to stay in return for working on another family member's house, so we were able to do that for a week or so. Then we got a week for free plus a couple of weeks just to kick the trip off, which was awesome. So we had a month in Raglan. We've left there and we've come down to this epic little town that when we're telling people we're coming here, locals back in Raglan were like, what are you doing? Like, we're nearly going to cancel it. And this place is so beautiful, really magic. There's about 12 locals that live here full time, and the rest are just holiday batches. I don't even know the guy that owns this house, and it's just a friend of a friend. So he's been kind enough to let us stay here for nearly a week. And all we've got to do is a little bit of tidying up, cleaning the windows and tracks, and the ceiling inside. It gets pretty mouldy just because it's shut up through the winter a bit, and a bit of gardening cleaning up as well. So probably works out to maybe a day and a half's work for a free accommodation, so it's well worth it for us as a family traveling. So yeah, working at a budget is one thing when you're at home trying to do it, but when you're actually on the road it's way different. Grocery wise, we've been spending what we thought, which is we budgeted Aussie 250 a week, 200, but prices here in New Zealand are way more expensive, so that's a bit more of a blow. But we budgeted fuel about 100 a week. We're probably using about that. Petrol's $2 a litre, so we're using a little bit more, but we're not driving as much as back home. And just little things like we've stopped having coffees out because they're just expensive. And from here though, what we're going to be doing is, the owner of this place lives south another 3 hours or so, and we're pretty keen to meet him. He sounds like a legend, and he's offered us to work on his farm so we can stay there a bit longer. And then from then on, it's pretty much we've got to be paying for accommodation, I think, unless we get some more contacts. We just meet along the way until down at Wanaka, which is nearly the bottom of the South Island. So we've got about 10 days where we need to budget for Airbnbs or hotels or whatever. And Kez and I were weighing up whether we just bail and go home back to Aussie, just because it's a bit expensive, but we figured we've done the hard yards, we've made it here with a ticket, we've bought a car, and we're so close to just seeing more of the country that we're pretty keen to see it. So at this stage our plan is pretty much gun it from, or once we leave here to a mate's farm, then gun it to the Wellington to get on the ferry to go south, and a few stops, and then just quickly get to Wanaka where my friend is. We've got some free accommodation. Looks epic there, and he's a legend with a sailing boat and knows heaps of cool things to do, so it should be fun there for about a week. And then we're going to plan on looping back around to the top of Christchurch, doing a full loop of both coastlines, east and west. But just for the sake of travelling with kids and being on a tight budget, we are going to, at this stage, fly out of Queenstown. So from Wanaka, just jump an hour south and sell the car, which I think we may have done already, and then fly out. So car wise, cars here are really cheap. We're able to pick this one up that we're driving, which is an 04 Nissan, like a 7-seater. We dropped the back set of seats so I can feel like luggage in. Then there's a row for the kids still and for us, and that was 3.3, and we've sold it for $2,000. It's a bit, I mean, we've lost $1,300, but we looked at car hire and the cheapest we could find was about $800 a week. So with all the insurances and stuff, that would be comfy to drive in with 2 kids and surfboards and stuff. So I mean, it's about 2 months of travel for $1,300, so that's pretty good money. So being able to travel budget wise, or being able to afford to travel as well this year, Kez has possibly picked up some design work for an engineering firm over here, rebranding some of their logos and stuff, some mates. So if that comes through, that will help us out a bit. Obviously I can teach back in Queensland, so teaching, you've got to get registered for each state. So at the moment I'm only registered for Queensland and Tasmania, so that will help a bit. We sold an investment property that we had on the coast. We bought that at 22 when we first got married, or 23. We had it for about 10 years. We lived in it for 5. Then when we went travelling over to Europe, we put renters in it. The property market took a bit of a spin last year, and because we're pretty cruisy, we weren't on top of it, and sold it probably the wrong time, like 6 months too late. If we sold it a bit earlier, we would have been able to probably travel for a whole year without working too much. Because the property dropped a bit more than we thought, property market dropped a bit more than we thought, I'll now have to be working daily. I don't know, we'll have to work a lot more than we thought. So yeah, we haven't really worked out a budget yet. It hasn't cleared the money yet, so we're not really sure how much we'll end up with. So yeah, we'll see what happens there, and we'll keep you posted. But we started this trip with about $7,000 in the bank, and we're getting real close. Like, we'll have enough money to get home. Luckily we've sold the car and he's paid us already, and then so hopefully the money for the house will come through soon, and we'll be able to use that for a few months just to get, I don't know, a bit of a plan happening for back in Aussie. And then it's back to just winging it and finding work as we go and stuff like that. Kez can pick up design work pretty easy online, and I'm happy, you know, I'm open just to working whatever. It doesn't have to be teaching, farming work or gardening, whatever. So we're not too stressed about it. Obviously it's a bit more, wouldn't say stressful, but a little bit more planning involved when you're traveling with kids. Like when it's just your partner and yourself, or just yourself, you can just cruise here and there and not really worry about your money until you get to the low, you know, real low on it. But with kids and stuff, it's a bit more responsibility and how you roll with it and how you plan and budget. There's no point waiting until you got $0 and you're in the middle of Timbuktu to wait to find a job. But we're really excited. We've been loving this time. We're getting into a bit of a groove now. I'd say it's taken nearly a month just to get into just going with the flow, and well, not even going with the flow, just getting into a rhythm as traveling with the family and kids, and just being with each other all the time and balancing good waves and surfing and a little bit of work you got to do on a house, 'cause, you know, you're in a new town. It's so exciting, so it's the last thing you want to do. But and just also slowing down as well. Like, it's not like a one week trip where you just jet around and go home and relax. So we've got to really pace ourselves. And I think a little bit of wisdom we're bringing into it is from the trip that we did as a couple before we had kids, was when we travelled around the world, was that we really learnt to slow down, because we both came back pretty cooked at the end of it, because we just were like, oh, you're only in Italy for a day, you're only in Guatemala for a week, oh, you're only here for a day, and you just go. So kids really help you slow down, because they just get over it and ratty and not fun to be with. So I hope that's answered some questions. Feel free to ask some more. We love hearing. We love sharing as well, and we love really just documenting our trip just for us as well, so it's epic.
If we lose, do we really lose? Or is it lost that can lead you to find? It's never too late to set your soul straight. And if I feel the same,
So the $7,000 that we started the trip with wasn't actually savings. That was from me selling my ute. The savings we did have, we put into renovating the house to get renters in. So that was where that money came from. And then we're still trying to sell Kez's car, our van. So that will hopefully give us another 15 or so. The biggest part of going away for the year, because people have already been saying, like, we've been meeting people going, oh, how are you affording this? What's happening? What do you do for a job? Blah, blah. It's like, we're poor as nuts, but it was a desire for us to go away, I suppose, and it was a dream for us to go away, and we really valued having time together. So it wasn't like we're super rich or wealthy. It was just like, this is what we want to do. This is worth risking it going to crap, because you don't know how it's going to turn out. And I suppose the start of the year showed that. It was just went real pear-shaped real quick, and up until the investment house sold a few weeks ago, I was stressing like it wasn't the wisest thing to do to leave before that had sold. But I already quit my job before that had sold, which probably also wasn't the wisest thing to do. But we really felt from God that we were going to be able to do it, and that He was going to bless it, and it's turned out sweet so far. So that's not to say it's going to be easy or it's going to be smooth sailing, but I think when you have a dream to do something, we don't want to look back in 30 years and go, oh, that would have been really cool to do that, and just paid our cars off and stayed at home working. In another video later on, I suppose we could share our values of how we've changed from, and why we've changed from, being 22-year-olds, buying a house, we're both working 2 jobs, doing massive hours renovating and all this sort of stuff. And same sort of thing, we decided in about January, we quit our jobs and left in March for a ticket around the world and did that. And I suppose radical changes like that don't happen without a reason or without valuing it. So we can share later on if you want. Just give us a comment and ask us why that happened if you want to hear about it. If not, I won't share it because it'd be boring. But yeah, so yeah, I really encourage you guys to go for your dreams and to, not to be scared about the obstacles you might face in it, but yeah, just search it out, work out a way, work out a plan. Don't do anything stupid and quit your job the next day and not think about it. We've thought about it and planned it for months, but we planned it, I wouldn't say for months, we actually didn't have any time, but we definitely thought about it and tried to make it work and talked to my boss and got their blessing on it as well and their green light. So it's something that you can do wisely, and I say that with a question mark because I think people thought, well, nuts the way we did it, but we felt together and in unison that it was meant to be, so we went for it. But yeah, see you later.